I always make the mistake of hitting my cart when I'm doing research for these videos, so then I have this horrific, awful lip smacking throughout the entire video. But, whatever, it is what it is. I also want to start this video off by saying I thought I did horribly on Cape versus Amobayev. I went 9-1 on that card, and then I proceeded to go fucking like 5-5 on Pereira versus Ankalaev. So I did really bad on the pay-per-view, but I did really good on the fight night. So let's hope the tradition of me being awesome at picking through fight nights continues with this one, UFC London, Edwards versus Brady. I'm going to be giving you my predictions for each and every fight, starting with Guram Kutaledze versus Cal Fernandez. I really don't know either of these people. Guram is the taller fighter, but he lacks reach, which is really funny. He's got them stubby little arms. Guram is 33. That means he's not really old enough to start declining yet. He's actually still in his prime as an up-and-comer, which is really funny. He's more aggressive. He's the higher volume person. He has higher activity, but he only has 20% takedown accuracy. So what are you doing with all that activity? I'm not 100% sure. He does have wins over people like Mateusz Gamrot and Felipe Silva. So, compared to Fernandez's loss to Mark Diakisi, which it's a terrible, terrible, terrible loss. This Mark guy really hasn't done anything, and I watched him live, so typically, I'd be a fan of people that I watch live, but whatever. I'm picking Guram by Merab. I think he's just going to Merab decision this guy. I think people are going to be jacking off his output and his cardio forever and ever and ever. But I don't think he's actually going to show anything that's that good. That's the crazy, whatever. There's a lot of people who, they have this high output, and that's what they have. And it's really funny that, I don't know. Corey Sandhagen should have beaten Umar. That's a different point. Nathan Fletcher versus Callan Loughran. This is Nathan Fletcher's 135-pound debut. He is a featherweight typically, which that's interesting, making a harder weight cut. I did not look to see if he had fought at 135 earlier in his career because I am the definition of an amateur when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, always moving down is always interesting because people think it's going to be so much easier, and then it's really not. Like, they're still professional fighters, and they're only a little bit smaller than you. You know what I mean? Like, size advantage isn't as much as people think it is. I don't understand why it's such a big deal still. Fletcher is an English grappler. Lol. I literally put a couple of laughing emojis next to this. Being a Brit and being a grappler is damn near an oxymoron. Everybody from England absolutely blows at grappling with the exception of Paddy Pimblett, and he still kind of sucks at grappling. He's just like, he has a submission threat. His takedowns are still trash, so I don't even, whatever. But yeah, speaking of Paddy, this guy trains with Paddy the Pimblett. Could you imagine Paddy the Pimblett? Anyway, this guy trains with Paddy the Batty. He has been KO'd before, though, which means he's a disgrace to all Scousers, right? Don't Scousers not get knocked out? Isn't that the whole thing? They're like the white trash Southerners of England, aren't they? Whatever. Fletcher is significantly more accurate than Loughran. Loughran is more of a volume striker. They're both typically finishers. I'm going to go with Loughran, actually, even though that entire everything that I just said was things about Nathan Fletcher. I'm going to go with Loughran. I don't believe in Nathan Fletcher's grappling. I think Loughran can outstrike him. I think his volume is going to be better than Fletcher's accuracy because he fights like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm picking. Moving on. Shauna Bannon versus Pooja Tomar. Why is Pooja Tomar in the UFC? She is 9-4. I don't. I really don't understand WMA. For a long time, I was like, no, WMA is just good. But that's because I was a casual and I was only watching, the Rose Namajunas, the Joanna Jędrzejczyks, Amanda Nunes. But once you get anywhere down the card, like at all, it's trash. There's no reason to watch this stuff. I don't know. I'm picking Shauna Bannon just because she's 6-1. I think she's the favorite. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. Christian Leroy Duncan versus Andrei Pulayev. Not to be confused with Chris Duncan, by the way, who is a somebody. He's on the main card later on. Just in case you were like, hang on, I think I know Christian Duncan. No, you don't. Heavy favorite. Minus 650 for Christian Leroy Duncan. But he lost to Armin Petrosyan and Gregory Rodriguez. Like, honestly, Gregory Rodriguez isn't that bad of a loss, even though he just got veteran. Oh my god, that Cannonier fight was crazy. But it wasn't crazy, but it was just like I really thought Gregory Rodriguez was gonna win that. And then, but Armin Petrosyan, bro, Armin Petrosyan sucks. This guy is bad. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Andrei Pulayev lost to literally nobodies, but I don't know. I can't pick somebody who lost to Petrosyan and Gregory Rodriguez. I'm picking Andrei Pulayev. I don't care about the crazy underdog. I think he has a grappling advantage. He didn't lose to Armin Petrosyan. Who loses to Armin Petrosyan? I understand this is the guy who got anime spinning back-fisted by Shara Bullet. Shara Bullet only has one eye, and I wouldn't get hit by that. You understand? Like, what? Who? Armin Petrosyan sucks. Whatever. Moving on. Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin. More people that suck. Mick Parkin is absolute trash. People think this guy's good because he's undefeated, but who has he fought? He has fought actual tin cans, brother. Marcin Tybura has a record of 26-9, bro. Marcin Tybura was created in a lab to main event Apex Fight Nights, okay? He's not losing when he's headlining a prelim in London. You know, that is the whole he exists so that you can put somebody against him in the main event and have them win, okay? So when he gets put in not a main event of an Apex, he has to win to maintain that level of credibility that his name gives other people when they beat him in the main event of an Apex. Does that make sense? Are you understanding the logic here? But yeah, so because of that, Marcin Tybura is fraud checking Mick Parkin. Somebody's O has got to go. You know, whatever. I just wanted to say that. Best thing that happened to Marcin Tybura, I do want to say it's so funny that any time his name gets brought up now, he's a great fighter, Marcin Tybura. Like, it's just the Tom Aspinall bit. But whatever. Moving on. Loner Kavanaugh, who is 8-0, versus Felipe Dos Santos. Dos Santos is the taller fighter. He's the longer, more rangy fighter. Kavanaugh is the calmer, more calculated fighter, it would seem, though. I think Dos Santos has faced tougher competition, like Manel Kape and Andre Lima. I don't know. I'm going to pick Kavanaugh just because he has the England stat buff, you know? You know, sometimes, like, Canada doesn't get it. It's funny. Brazil doesn't really get it, but they sometimes do. England is a hard, like, when they go to England and they put a card around England, it seems like that is a clean sweep for England sometimes. You know, not even sometimes, almost more often than not. You know, if they were to go to Poland and have just a million Poland fighters, the Poland people are going to sweep. They try to do it with Mexico. I don't remember how well it did in Mexico, but whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anybody who actually gambles knows what I'm talking about. Moving on, next fight, Jai Herbert versus Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla sucks, bro. This guy has 6 losses. None of them are in the UFC. I'm talking, this guy has lost to people like Jason Gonzalez, Darren Smith. Who are these people? Who are you losing to, bud? Like, you're not telling me you're going to have a successful UFC career when you start your UFC career with 6 losses. You're not getting caught. Nobody's getting lucky. You're bad. Also, Jai Herbert has to win more so that Ilya looks better. He looks like he has a credible win at lightweight. So, you know, I'm picking Jai Herbert just because the Ilya glaze. And I hate Ilya. Moving on, though. Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Charrier. I thought I was typing this out and I was like, man, I like Nathaniel Wood, but 20-6 isn't that good. And then I get to Morgan's record and he's 20-10-1. Morgan Charriere sucks. This guy is terrible. The only scary thing about this is that Nathaniel Wood is very, very, very small. But, I mean, he's solid. He almost beat Naimov. I remember that. This feels like one of those fights where it's set up for Nathaniel Wood to win. Like, they want him to get back in the win column. I'm picking Nathaniel Wood. I like Nathaniel Wood. I would have picked him even if this wasn't a favorable matchup. But, I don't know. I'm just feeling it. I feel it. Moving on, Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan. This is where Chris Duncan's coming in. I fuck with Jordan's tattoos. Heavy. He's got 2 rose tattoos on his chest. Fuck with them. He's got 5 submissions in a row. Was gonna say Duncan has the grappling advantage, but I think he has the takedown advantage. He has the offensive grappling advantage, but this guy is probably gonna catch him in a sub or something, or even defend the takedowns. This Jordan guy seems like Brian Ortega 2.0. I remember when Brian Ortega was getting ready to fight Volk, the stat came out that he had however many submission wins in fights where he had never attempted a takedown. Like, he was just catching people when they were going, and that was so cool. That was aura building for me. I'm not even gonna lie. I still fuck with Brian Ortega to this day off that stat because the not shooting takedowns but still subbing people, that shit's hard. But yeah, I don't know. I'm picking this Jordan guy probably by sub. Rip Chris Duncan. I don't know. Moving on, Molly McCann versus Alexia Thainara. Molly McCann doesn't have the Patty Pimblett buff. I thought we already discovered that if she's under Patty Pimblett on the card, she gets a dub easy and quick so that she can walk him out afterwards. If he's not on the card with her, if they're not able to do the media together, she loses the fight. That's damn near just guaranteed at this point. So I'm going to pick Alexia. Moving on. Man, WMMA is really not as good as I thought now that I have to look into every fight. Gunnar Nelson versus Kevin Holland. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Kevin Holland's record is 26-13. Are you kidding me, bud? He has lost 4 out of his last 5 fights. What? Oh my god. I like Kevin Holland. You know what I mean? I want to root for him so bad. Honestly, though, this weirdly feels like a Kevin Holland setup fight. I feel like he's gonna get back in the win column. Gunnar Nelson sucks. He was never really that good. His best win is Brian Barberena, and that was his last win. That was in 2023. You're beating Brian Barberena in 2023, and you think you're any type good off? Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I remember I had this conversation with one of my friends who does MMA, Connor, about how Jalen Turner's retirement was justified because that loss made him 14-9. Brother, 26-13 is insane. Picking Kevin Holland, though, I could say he's rangier. I could say he, has good enough grappling to stay in the fight with Gunnar Nelson. But none of that matters. Kevin Holland is a protagonist. He's way more of a main character than Gunnar Nelson. And he needs a win right now after everybody turned on him, with him going on the Rampage podcast and making an absolute fool out of himself and losing to RDR, brother, in 30 seconds. Whatever. I've said whatever a few times in this video. It doesn't matter. Going on to the next fight, Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. Bro, Jan Blachowicz is old as fuck. He is 42 years old. Jesus, I knew he was old, but I did not realize he was that old. But with that being said, I thought Carlos Ulberg is a young up-and-comer. Bro's 34. Bro is already approaching Unk status, decline. He sucks. He never, How are you about to be a prospect at 34 years old? You know what I mean? You're a good bit too... In 2 years, you're on the decline age-wise, just statistically. So, I don't know. It was brought to my attention that Jan Blachowicz might be able to get a title shot off beating Carlos Ulberg, but Carlos Ulberg isn't going to get a title shot off Jan Blachowicz. Maybe, but I still feel like if Ankalaev beats Alex Pereira and then Carlos Ulberg fights or beats Jan Blachowicz, Carlos Ulberg gets the next title shot. I don't know why. I'm not being convinced otherwise of that. I can feel it. Carlos Ulberg is going to beat Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz is probably going to retire, and then you're not going to hear from Carlos Ulberg for like a year when he gets matched up against Ankalaev. He might not even be the next title shot after Alex Pereira, but I don't know that he fights until he gets a title shot, even though allegedly Dana White doesn't like it when people wait for title shots. It definitely seems like people be waiting for title shots. Whatever. Yeah, I'm picking Carlos Ulberg. He might get the finish. I don't know. I don't really care about Carlos Ulberg is the thing. I don't really like him. Moving on. Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. Here's the crazy thing. I was actually going to pick Sean Brady for this fight, right? Like, I was watching Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad, and I was like, man, Leon is really like a confidence merchant. Like, he needs to be feeling good. He needs the momentum to be swinging his way. He needs his coach to be screaming the right things in his face. Like, the whole time through the second Usman fight, which, yeah, I get it. He got landed a head kick in the last, 10 seconds or whatever, last 60 seconds. Cool moment. Everybody loves it. Boom, headshot, dead. He got bullied, right? Can we all agree on that? He got shit on for that entire fight almost. So it's not really that good of a performance. And then he had the confidence, and then Kamaru Usman lost his knees leading into the third fight, right? Against Bilal, he only did worse. You know what I mean? And I get it, he got dunked on his head. But, as the fight went on, he only did worse. There was never a point where it was like, oh my God, Leon's starting to swing the momentum. And then looking at him in between rounds, he just looks so dejected. You know what I mean? He just looks so sad and, pathetic and wimpy. But then I realized Leon Edwards is only 33 years old, and Sean Brady is 32 years old. Brother, again, how am I supposed to treat you like an up-and-coming prospect when you are 32 years old? You're only a year younger than the former champion that you're fighting against, bro. You're trash, kid. You got finished by Bilal. You almost got styled on by Gilbert Burns. Yeah, you're not even, I don't know, you're only 17-1 to Leon Edwards' 22-4. He has significantly more experience than you. He probably has better grappling. He definitely has better striking. I literally, as soon as I opened ESPN to get the screenshot for this video, I 180'd, and I was like, oh wait, hang on a second. Leon Edwards is winning this fight. Leon Edwards is the underdog? Why is he the underdog, bro? That's honestly, him being an underdog is more reason for me to pick him than him being the favorite. If Sean Brady was the underdog, I was like, yeah, he's about to be a dog. He's about to get out here and prove these people wrong. No, bro. Leon Edwards is going to style on you. I'm honestly thinking about going for a Leon Edwards finish. I know that's rare. I know that's crazy. That's almost spooky scary. But I really do think Leon Edwards can get out here and finish this guy. Sean Brady doesn't have anything for Leon. His submission threat is better. His control is better. His scrambles are better. We're not going to talk about his striking. And I get it, he's a boring point fighter, yeah, whatever, right? And I don't like mumble mouth either. But, skill for skill, what does Sean Brady have? What is he offering this guy? You know what I mean? And he's got the England stat boost. So, he's going to win. There's really nothing Sean Brady has for him. I will say Leon is a pussy for acting like being tired is a factor in the Bilal fight. I distinctively remember watching a Paddy Pimblett interview where he said something along the lines of, you're not going to be tired when somebody's punching you in the face. You're not going to be sleepy, dozing off while somebody is physically attacking you. So it really doesn't matter what time the card is. You're prepared for it as a professional. So for Paddy to say that, and then for people to act like he's a bitch and then not even good, and then Leon to come out after his championship fight, and people to act like that's a factor is insane. I like Tom Aspinall. I don't like that Tom Aspinall agrees with Leon on that. I don't like that Tom Aspinall even said anything about it. I get it that it is really annoying to have the card at 5 a.m. Get better, win some wars, kid. I don't know. We're America #1. Stop talking so funny. And maybe cards would be on your time. Just a thought. But, I don't know. Yeah, I'm picking Leon Edwards. I really don't think Sean Brady has anything at all for him. But yeah, I don't know. I'm always bad at ending these videos. Those are my predictions for UFC London, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady.